Hey guys, welcome to Brickstars. Today we're going to be going through our $255 photo. So first up, we're going to look at some of the parts that are in this photo, and we're going to start off with the famous Lego goat. So as you can see, this piece here in Canada starts at $80 and goes all the way up into the hundreds. Reason being, it only ever appeared in one set. This is the Mill Village Raid from 2011, and we're lucky enough to have it, so we have two of these goats, and they add about $90 to our photo. So the next piece we're going to look at is this Forestman torso from the Dark Forest series from the 1990s. So this one featured the unofficial Robin Hood of Lego, one of our favorite figures. You can see it's only appeared on him, and that's why the price averages about $60 Canadian. You can find some cheaper ones, but they tend to be broken or cracked. Once you get into the good condition ones, it's in the high 80s to $90. So this is the torso we've used in this photo. And of course, no Forestman is complete without his shield. It's important to keep in mind this is the old style shield, so Lego did re-release these shields recently with the Forestman, but this original version, which is brown and not reddish brown, averages about $8, which is quite a bit for a shield. I think there's not a lot of shields that are that expensive, and there's going to be a lot of broken ones and scratched ones, but once you find a good condition one, the price is higher. So this average price actually may be skewed down. Some people may have bought ones that are scratched up, but still a pretty pricey piece. Next up, we have the Forestman hat. So this hat originally came in green and brown with the Forestman, and we can actually see it here. So the original figures that had it. And in blue, of course, our version is dark green, which only came in 2 minifigures, and ours specifically is from the Lederhosen guy from the collectible minifigure series. And we actually love this color of hat. It works great for adding some variety to your Forestman, but it'll set you back about $6 Canadian. I'm gonna skip the next one and go to the face that we're using for this minifigure. So actually very fitting for Forestman. He kind of looks like the original head. You can see this one goes for about $18-19, and it could go all the way up to $100 if you're so inclined to pay that much for this. Reason being, it says 2 minifigures, but really it's only featured in one minifigure that was only featured in one set, and that's the Imperial Armada set. I know this says 4. That's because this set was re-released a couple times. Actually, I stand corrected. It was also in this set. This was a very rare set, so there, we learned something new today. And our next piece is the bird. This is from the Lone Ranger series. This is supposed to be a crow that they wear on their headdress. So this will set you back about $6. We really love this piece. I love this piece since it came out. And just to give you an idea of how it looks on a minifigure, it usually stabs into the hair or the head, and it's an article of clothing, but we've used it as an actual bird in a lot of our scenes. And finally, last but certainly not least, is this plume. So why this plume is $62? It's a tiny little piece. It comes in a bunch of different colors that, like if we go to red, for example, it's about 5 cents, 10 cents. So this particular color only came in one set on one minifigure, and that is Radagast the Brown, for you Lord of the Rings fans. I wish I had this figure, but I have the most expensive part of this figure, so maybe one day I'll buy the rest of the parts. But this plume was actually a lucky find, and we'll have another video later on that will show off other lucky finds we've had, but yeah, we'll get into that story another time. We were really lucky to find this in a random marketplace find. So this will set you back about $62, and altogether these parts are the main features in the photo, and our whole goal was to create a photo that looked good, had our Brickstar style, but we wanted to add some fun to it and put together pieces that are pretty rare and expensive. And I think we've gone through all of them here, so now we'll get into showing the photo build.
We start with our usual. We got our rock, we got some dirt, and we got our paper on the ground to prevent a big mess. What we want to do, what we're envisioning here, is a really lush forest, and especially one where you could see this big old oak tree. So we have it upright instead of downright, which is actually a pretty big difference to what we normally do. Then we add the Lego tree in, so we try to create some Lego elements in addition to our call it real background or real elements, and we just kind of arrange it because every little detail matters. When we're using this macro lens, it really does come into play. That one tree kept getting knocked down, but it's going to stay up in the end. And we're just about ready to bring in the minifig and some of the decor just once we finish with the moss. The moss adds just a nice little bit of realism around the Lego parts. Now the scene is ready, and here comes the minifig and the goat, and with that just little bits of decor all over the place. Now one interesting piece of information is that Lego came out with the fern piece this year, but what we're going to do here in a second is use a real fern from the garden that we plucked, and we put it here just to add a little bit of homage to the Lego piece while having a real bit of actual grass or an actual plant in this photo. With that, the set is complete, the diorama is complete, and now we can start to take the actual photo. As you can see, it turned out pretty good. We got a good amount of actual plants in addition to the Lego plants, in addition to our plastic decor plants, so it worked out. Now with the photo, we always want to make the crispest possible shot of the minifig. That's what we're doing here. We're setting up that perfect focus on the figure itself, and set the remote and step back and take the shot. Moving into Photoshop now, we're going to adjust the lighting, but we know that this photo is not going to have too much editing moving forward. The colors, once they're set, it just comes down to cleaning it up a little bit, adding our standard effects, and that will probably be good. One thing that we're really trying to focus on is cleaning up sort of the scratches or miscolors or whatever on the actual Lego, but for the most part we have it in good condition. Sometimes you just get gunk on it, like in the case of this, a bit of dirt particle will get on our goat. Now get our standard pieces in, the coloring, and after that the most important thing will just be the particles and the rest of kind of the mood or the atmosphere that the photo brings. Now we can imagine this photo is sort of in a really dense forest, so we do want to have it's relatively dark. There's not a big sun glare coming in from the bottom, but we do have kind of a sun glow coming between the trees, and that's what you see right here. Speaking of trees, we really love how that oak tree ended up right behind the minifig. I know here we're fixing a little bit of a glare, but that oak tree just looks awesome. The branches are sticking out, it looks great. And lastly here we're adding fog, just kind of like some dew, that morning dew, and there we have it.